Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG Build Guide Edition. Today I am ready to drop on you Iteration 1 of my brand new Path of Exile Witch Infernalist Fire Necro Minion Army. And I have been asked ad nauseum on stream, please put out something, give us something to follow. So that is what this is. This build, I was trying to recreate my Fire Necro from last epoch in Path of Exile 2, and I'm happy to report we have had a lot of success. And just know that this build will continue to evolve. Obviously, we have cleared the whole campaign. We are in maps. We're in map tier 5-6. I'm hoping by the end of today we can get it to tier 7-8, so it will continue to evolve, but at least you will have something to follow. As always, I will focus and show you every single facet of the build. Everything is timestamped in the description below if you need to bounce around. Let's not waste any time and jump right into this. Starting off with some gameplay. Now, the skills we are using for our Fire Necro Fire Witch are Flame Wall, and you're triggering this twice, or you're casting it twice. And every time you cast it, you're going to make 5 Raging Spirits. Now, a lot of people are nervous. The Raging Spirits got nerfed. I guess a lot of people were using some kind of trigger mechanic. We were never using that. So I'm not sure what people were doing, but it does not affect us in any way. So what you're going to be doing is making Flame Wall, and each time you make it, it's going to be generating 5 Raging Spirits, totaling 10. And they just bounce all over the place, and you're going to be casting them like crazy. For our curse, we're going to be using Flammability, and this is a pretty mana-heavy curse. I've leveled mine up. You can get a lower level one that doesn't use as much mana, but right now we are fine, and if we ever run out of mana, I could just use a pot. So it's not terrible, but Flammability is the curse that I prefer for this build. We're using Pain Offering. This is like Dreadshade for last epoch inside of PoE. So we're sacrificing 1 minion and we are super boosting our army. It is an absolutely amazing skill must have. Now for our main damage dealers, we are using Skeletal Arsonists. Currently I have 6 of them, and they just sit back and bomb on enemies. And they do feel fairly balanced, like they die frequently, and I mean, they do good damage, but they don't feel like they're going to get nerfed. Maybe they'll get tuned a little bit, and they are definitely our favorite minion we have used. Now, I'm also using 1 Skeletal Cleric. Clerics don't have a high spirit cost. They only cost 21, at least at time of recording. We just hit level 72, but I have 1 Skeletal Cleric on the battlefield, which helps heal my minions and revive fallen skeletons. So kind of the idea is that when I use Pain Offering and kill one of my skeletons, I have a cleric there to help bring that minion back to life. It is not instant, but they definitely help. So if you don't have enough spirit for an extra arsonist, you can use that spirit to get a cleric. I actually love having it on the field, and I try to make it as tanky as possible. You can see my cleric following me around and healing my minion army. And the build is pretty easy. You run around. Like right now, we're already in tier 5 maps when we're playing Endgame. And you can come by Aaron Action RPG on Twitch if you have questions on the build. But ultimately, we cast Flame Wall, Dreadshade, Flammability. And that is really it. It's a pretty easy build. Very, very effective. So now let's break down the skills for our Fire Necromancer, starting with Summon Infernal Hound, and this will be the first skill you get when you ascend for the first time, which I will show you in the passive tree. So the supports I have selected, it's currently 4 links added. 1 is Fire Mastery, gives +1 to skills. 2nd is Fire Exposure. Supported skills inflict fire exposure for 8 seconds on ignited enemies, and all enemies will be ignited. The 3rd skill is Searing Flame. Supported skills deal 25% less damage with hits, but 75% more magnitude of ignites inflicted on supported skills, just buffing that ignite. And the 4th thing is Culling Strike. Supported skills have Culling Strike against rare unique enemies. Now, when you are mapping can be extremely difficult, and you are actually hunting rare enemies. Having Culling Strike is just an awesome quality of life to make sure that the rare dies before you, and your Infernal Hound will take care of that. Moving over to your damage dealer. Again, we currently have a 5-link total, or 4 links added. We are using Scatter Shot, which is 2 additional projectiles. Tempo, which is attack speed. Minion Mastery, which adds 1 to skills. And lastly, Fire Penetration, to penetrate enemies' fire resistance. Moving over to Raging Spirits, the next skill that I want to add a socket to. And for Raging Spirits, we are using Feeding Frenzy for 30% more damage. Fire Infusion for 25% extra fire damage. And we are using Immolate for supported skills cannot ignite, but 30% extra fire damage. Lots of damage for our Raging Spirits, and I know a lot of people have been asking, is this build dead? As I am streaming, no, the nerf does not affect us in any way. Moving over to Firewall, which is how you actually trigger your Raging Spirits. By the way, make sure this is spinning. A lot of people are saying their Raging Spirits aren't working. It's because they have not right-clicked to activate it. On Flame Wall, what we have is Tempo. This is going to give you more cast speed, just so you could cast it quicker. We're taking Fortress, which makes it a larger circumference, so that when your arsonists are chucking their bombs, it is easier to ignite them. And we are using Mobility, which just makes it easier to move around when you are casting it. Moving over to Pain Offering. Pain Offering, this is basically, if you are used to Last Epoch, this is our Dread Shade that we are casting all the time. We have taken Elemental Resistance for minions that are supported by it. Try and keep them alive. We have taken Font of Rage. Any minions that are supported are going to be raged, which is going to boost attack damage. And we have taken Magnified Effect just to give it a larger area so that minions are still affected even if they are not right next to it. For our curse, we are using Flammability. First thing we have is Inspiration. It costs less. This thing costs a ton of mana. At level 14, it's 143. And I almost recommend not leveling it because it doesn't really do a lot. I'll probably unlevel my Flammability, but Inspiration, so it costs less. Hex Boom, curses from supported skills spread, so they move around. And then Heightened Curse, 25% effect of supported curses, so you just have a stronger curse. Now, I am also using one Skeletal Cleric, okay? The Skeletal Cleric is basically your summons reviving Skeletal Clerics that heals other minions and revives fallen skeletals. This is your nurse that is running around, and what I like about it is it only costs 20 spirit. It is not that expensive, so you could grab, depending on your cost, an extra arsonist. The arsonist costs 30, so I don't have enough for an extra one right now, so I'm using a skeleton cleric. And since you're going to be spamming Pain Offering, which is killing one of your minions, your skeleton cleric will bring it back to life. Kind of. Brings it back to life a lot quicker. What we have here is supported skills have 30% increased cooldown recovery rate. We have minions from supported skills will stay alive after they die by 4 seconds on last grasp. And we have Meat Shield. Minions from supported skills deal less damage but have more maximum life. As you can see, what we care about for our skeletal cleric is literally keeping it alive. Okay, so that is where we are at. Now I've got some plans for cast on minion death. That is going to be a future of the build just because this costs 60 spirit to use as far as the reservation. So that will be for the future, but these are the skills. So now let's break down the passive tree. At time of recording, I am level 72, and I have been doing lots of tinkering. Every single stream, we're moving points around and testing things out, so I'll show you where I'm at now. Now, first things first, when you ascend for the first time, obviously this is a Fire Necro build, which means you want to pick Infernalist, which you know already. And the first 2 points you want is your Loyal Hellhound. For sure, it is the best thing. It is a permanent minion that does not require spirit. So you want your Loyal Hellhound, and it's going to help you with your ignites. You're then going to come left and take Altered Flesh. And when you're gearing, we'll talk about this when I show you the gear, is you want as much fire resistance as possible, or at least the first you want is fire resistance, because cold and lightning damage is taken as fire. Now, if you've ascended the third time, you want to come down here and get Will, which is going to reserve life, but give you a big boost to your spirit to have more minions. But this will need to be tested. I don't know if I'm going to go this route. Likely I will, but we're definitely going to be testing out Bringer of Flames, and we're going to be testing Seething Body for our minions to see what we like more, but at least this looks like the best. More spirit, more army. Now, when it comes to the passive tree, I continue to tinker and move things around. I'm of the mindset right now that I want my minions to be able to take 2 or 3 hits instead of just the wind blowing and them falling over. I don't know if that's the right route to go right now, but I'll show you how I have taken the nodes. First things first is we're going to cut left and grab all of these minion nodes right at the beginning. And they're minion life, minion damage, minion attack speed. And you want to get open mind here to help you with mana regen throughout the campaign. It does help a lot. You're then going to cut right and come down here and get minions revive faster. So when your minions do die, you want them to pop up as quick as possible. You're then going to come to this cluster here, and this is for your survivability, and this is basically damage that you take. The life is recouped. You're then going to come to the right and continue to work on your minions revive, your minions survivability, and these nodes are going to take care of your minion accuracy. And on these nodes, once you have them, you won't have to worry about accuracy for the rest of the build. So as you could zoom out here, that is what you are going to do first. Come that way, up, down, recoup, revive, accuracy. You're then going to cut left. And the first node you're going to take on the left is minions revive 25% faster. But you only want to take 1, 2, and 3. These 3 nodes. Don't do these other ones yet. You're then going to come straight up, bam, and to here, to this cluster. And you want to go straight up and get Lord of Horrors. This is going to be minions have 12% reduced reservation, which means they cost less spirit, which means you can have more minions. And then you want to come down and you want to get the Left Hand of Darkness, which is additional physical damage reduction for your minions and chaos resistance. Again, we want to try and keep them alive. You're then going to cut right. So now we're back down here, and we are going to cut right to this cluster, which again, max life, minions recoup 10% of damage as life, physical damage reduction, physical damage reduction. We want to try and keep them alive. We are then going to cut right again and come down here, maximum life, chaos resist, maximum life, and more maximum life. This is all minion survive ability. Okay, so that's where we're at so far. Come up here, down, these, this. First 3 nodes, up, right. You are then going to cut left all the way over here to this cluster. And on here, you are going to get minion damage, minion elemental resistances, and minion maximum life. We like this cluster. All right. You are then, I know I'm all over the place, going to cut back to here where you are going to get your area of effect and cooldown with more damage, and you're going to get more resistance and maximum resistance. We're going to have tanky minions. Now, what I am working on now is I am working towards the right, and I will show you. So I've come up here and taken enhanced barrier for myself, more recouped life, and I'm going to come up here and snag this will. Okay, so my next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points are right here. I am then going to come right, continue to come right, and I am going to snag Whispers of Doom. You can apply an additional curse. So that is where I am at on my passive tree. That's as far as I've figured out. So the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 levels are figured out for my passive tree. And this will continue to tinker and change. At this point, you have seen gameplay. You've seen the skills, support gems, passive, so now let's talk gear. And obviously this is day 5 for me playing the game, so this gear is not fine-tuned in any way, shape, or form, okay? But I will show you what I am working with. Now, the first thing you want to look for is, of course, your weapon, and you are going to want a scepter. Now, this is unequivocally the best scepter that I have made. I actually crafted this scepter. Unfortunately, it doesn't have fire damage on it, and it's the wrong base. Instead of Grant's level 14 discipline, you actually want skeleton warrior, but this has 39% increased spirit. It has attack speed, it has regenerates life, it has physical damage, but more importantly, it has +2 to all minion skills. So this is currently the best scepter I have. 2 nodes you want, increase spirit, level to minion skills. Moving over to our helmet. Same thing here, nothing special. Cold res, intelligence, but more importantly, +1 to minion skills. Amulet, nothing special, but as you can see on here as well, +1 to minion skills. And just know you can get spirit on all of these items as well. Well, not all of them, but on our amulet, we should have spirit and minion skills. Looking at our shield, I crafted this yesterday. Armor, max energy shield, max life, all res, fire res, and cold res. We are basically just using this to help us with our survivability. Ring 1, max life intelligence. Ring 2, maximum life. That's it. Man, that ring is terrible. Looking at our chest armor, fire res, cold res, life regen, and max life. Again, you would want to see spirit on this. Boots, I recommend getting movement speed, as much movement speed as you can get on it. This has intelligence and max life. Belt, max life, max mana, resistances. Gloves, intelligence. Man, our gloves are bad too. We're going to work on that today. But that is the current gear I am rocking. And as you can see, there is a ton to be desired, but I want you to be able to see the gameplay that I had with the gear. And it just shows that when we actually get endgame gear, imagine what this build is going to be capable of. All right, everyone, that's the build guide. What do you think of my Iteration 1 Fire Necromancer? Is there anything I missed? Is there anything I can do to take this to the next level? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please like, share, and subscribe if you think I have earned it. Check out the Discord. We're approaching 4,500 members. Do a game giveaway every 2 weeks, movie nights, game nights, all of our community events. It's an awesome place to hang out. And the best way to support is Patreon. I'm live every single day, Aaron Action RPG on Twitch, if you want to come hang out or ask questions. I'm done. Hopefully you're entertained or at least learned something. Aaron, out.